just want to talk about Dragon Ball for a bit. I don't have any notes. I didn't write anything down. I just felt like I needed to talk about it, you know? First of all, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. I haven't finished Chrono Trigger. I tried playing it several years ago. I really enjoyed it. And then there was a point where I got stuck and I didn't pick it up for a bit, and then it just kind of got lost. But I really liked what I played. I haven't played Dragon Quest. As someone who loves JRPGs, I probably really should because it's fucking Dragon Quest. But it's just not something I have a lot of experience with. But I have a lot of experience with this. I think my introduction to Dragon Ball was, I believe it was Curse of the Blood Rubies? Which, if I remember correctly, is like an original story that's kind of heavily condensing Dragon Ball. Like, he meets Bulma really quickly, Oolong really quickly, Roshi to get the Kamehameha really quickly, to befriend Yamcha, and instead of the first arc being Pilaf, because I don't even think it's the Red Ribbon Army, but it was some kind of army, and there's just these bits and pieces of it that I still remember. Like, I remember, and I don't remember if this is also, like, when they first meet Oolong, but this part I remember is Oolong is, like, this big demon or whatever, and he's talking shit to Goku, and he's standing by a tree, he, like, kind of hits the tree, he's like, let's see how strong you are, kid, and Goku just does a flying kick and splinters the tree, and then Oolong goes, oh, this guy's a problem. I remember when Roshi first does his Kamehameha, and, you know, super buff Roshi goes flying, and he says, it took me 50 years to learn this technique. He goes, like, 50 years? And then Goku does it on the first attempt. And I remember Yoshi's response is, your 50 years went sort of slow. Which doesn't make any sense. Being like, didn't his years go, like, really fast because he learned it that quickly? But, okay. It's a line I've always remembered. Because I was like, hey, I don't know if that makes sense, but it stuck with me. They're able to summon Shenron, and at the end of the movie, because I think the Blood Rubies, like, actually turn people, like, frenzied and super aggressive and shit, and this woman is trying to, like, collect them. She's like the emperor, the general, or some shit. And I think a little girl, I don't know if this is actually supposed to be Arl or not, because I didn't know what the hell a Dr. Slump was. I've still actually never read Dr. Slump. Whoops. And, this little girl, like, wishes for Shenron to, like, cure her land or something, so he just, like, the blood rubies start getting removed. If I remember correctly, they start rising out of the ground and, like, disappearing into the ether. She's like, no, not my blood rubies. And then at the end, Bulma's like, oh, I was gonna wish for a boyfriend. And then you get Yamcha, I was about to wish for a girl. And then they look at each other and go, oh! And, like, that was my introduction to Dragon Ball. And I thought it was really fun. It's not the first anime I watched. That's probably Pokemon. I would be shocked if, if I am ever able at a point where, like, I meet God the Father and we watch my life, which, boy, like, there's a lot of things I wouldn't want to see. I would be shocked if the first anime wasn't Pokemon. Watched a lot of Dragon Ball on Toonami, both OG Ball and Z. I specifically remember watching, like, the climax of the Frieza saga, and there'd be, like, 2, maybe 3 episodes a day. Actually, no, was it? Because I think it would be, like, an episode of Ball and an episode of Z, and then the next day would be the next one. Maybe sometimes they would play 2 episodes. I'm not 100 on that. But I remember just how excited I'd be getting to, like, to the end of the saga, of the climax, and I remember looking at, like, the TV guide and seeing some of the next episodes. I was like, oh no, I think Vegeta's gonna die in, like, 5 days. Like, how excited I was to see crazy shit happen, but how, like, devastated I was. Like, I love Vegeta. I want to lose Vegeta. And then after the Frieza saga ended, I was really excited to get to Cell. Because another big influence from Dragon Ball, or experience with Dragon Ball, was Budokai 1. Because when I got my PS2, I had 3 games with it. Kingdom Hearts, Jak and Daxter, and Dragon Ball Z Budokai. Which, no, it's not my first fighting game. That was Smash 64. But it's probably my second fighting game was Budokai. And even though I got the PS2 for Christmas, I did not get the memory card till Easter. So I've talked about that a lot in regards to Kingdom Hearts, where it's like everything from Dive to the Heart to about the Cave of Wonders is just kind of engraved in my soul because of how often I played it. Budokai is pretty similar because we're like, well, I unlock all the characters. Like, I would rarely actually do any verses. I would just do story mode a lot to just re-get everybody. So I knew what happened in the Saiyan Saga. I got to experience Frieza. I was like, okay, next is Cell. And the androids, like, this is really cool. This is really exciting. I can't wait to get to this. And Toonami just kind of skipped Cell. And they went straight into Boo. And I was really confused and really disappointed. And, like, I like Boo fine, but I also kind of hate Boo. The best way I can really describe my feelings on the Boo Saga are there's a lot of great ideas here, but it just completely killed regeneration for me. Just so how many times you see Boo die and then, nah, he's fine. And there was this one line when Super Saiyan 3 Goku was fighting him, and he's like, yo, Boo, I fought beings from all kinds of, like, galaxies and races, and you, by far, are the best. And it bothered me. I was like, no, he's not. He just doesn't die. Like, he doesn't feel like he's that much stronger or more threatening than when I fought Cell and Budokai or when I watched Frieza. I don't know. I don't buy that. And it's kind of one of those things where whenever I'm reading something or watching something and a character talks about how, oh, current antagonist, you're stronger than anything we fought so far. It's like, I get it. It's power scaling. But at the same time, I'm like, do I really buy that? I don't know. It feels like you're gassing this thing up by disrespecting the past, and it's not something I super care about. But I still always have that soft spot for the Boo Saga. For that Spirit Bomb at the end, and Fusion. Fuck, I love Fusion so much. I mean, it's Dragon Ball. We've all done it. We've all tried a Kamehameha. We've probably tried Spirit Bombing. I've definitely done this. Just trying to do the fucking instant transmission sound. I still do that shit. We've powered up. I've definitely done the fusion dance. But that's less of a, let's see if it actually works this time, and just more, no, I love the fusion. Like, it's so fun. Like, it's a great thing to do. I remember not loving GT, but still having a good time with it. And as critical as I was for a lot of parts of GT, I loved the final arc, where it is, the Dragon Balls were not supposed to be used as often as y'all are actually using them. And so there's, like, all of this, like, entropy and chaos and shit that is in the balls for, like, how, because they keep fucking up with the universe, and the universe does not have enough time to, like, reset its entropy levels, the Dragon Balls are basically now evil. And so not only should you not be relying on them, you have to kind of stop them. And essentially, like, all the big wishes that you made, you have to conquer them. Like, that's really cool. Oh, I really love this. And I don't know, there's just kind of something about that too, where it is, you can't always, like, don't rely on wishes to solve your problems, because that's really what Dragon Ball is about. It's about trying to solve shit yourself and getting strong enough to do it. It's one of the reasons I really love the Goku Superman death battles. It's like, Goku's my boy. I want to see Goku win. I gotta see him get one. But because there's I think it was at the end of the second battle, and they're like, here's the thing, because they've done a third one. Goku can't beat Superman. Here's why. it does not just come down to power scaling. It comes down to genuinely, like, thematically. Superman is a being with no limits. Now, I think Superman is like a genuinely interesting character, and don't get me wrong, but it's like he, at his core, is a being that has no limits. Goku is someone who does. Goku is someone who is always fighting to better himself and break those limits. That's what Dragon Ball is at its core. It is an adventure. It's goofy. It's like redefined and like set the fucking. It redefined an entire genre and an entire medium and like pop culture as a whole for several countries, several people, and generations. But what it is at its core is about getting better and being stronger. That's physically, mentally, emotionally stronger than who you were yesterday, and you'll be even stronger tomorrow. That's really fucking cool. I remember, like, one of my favorite Dragon Ball memories, like, of anything, is Goku, like, Goku going Ultra Instinct for the first time fighting Jiren. And the reason it's one of my favorite memories, not just because, like, the Ultra Instinct being the hype as shit, because it is, not just because of the fight, it's that hype. It is, like, I could not wait for the next episode to come out. Like, that's why I love the Tournament of Power so much. I was like, I have not been this excited to watch Dragon Ball in years. Like, this feels like when I was a kid watching the Frieza saga every week, or when I was watching the Boo saga every week. Or not every week, every fucking day. Like, I couldn't wait for the next episode kind of shit. It's like, now I'm cracked. I gotta wait for a whole last week. And when it was time for that episode, I was like, alright, it's out. I'm gonna go on Funimation and watch it. Oh, Funimation crashed. Because everyone was trying to watch this. And it was just that sense of that communal hype for Dragon Ball was so exciting because it's Dragon Ball, because it's something, you know, everyone loves. Like, when people talk about, like, what are some of your favorite anime of all time, we maybe don't always bring up Dragon Ball, but I feel like it's one of those, it almost kind of goes without saying. Like, yeah, like, if you grew up in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, you probably, like, adore Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's your shit. It has its problems, notably with its pacing. Like, when I think a lot of my favorite anime of all time, Dragon Ball is not one of the first things that comes to mind, because I usually think of something that's very emotional, or like with a really interesting story. Things like Madoka Magica, Clannad, that shit fucked me up. Place Further Than the Universe, Steins Gate, Fate Zero, Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann's kind of the exception to those, but even still, it still does. Higurashi. Dragon Ball doesn't immediately come to mind, but it's there, and it is just like, it goes without saying. We know how much, I know how much I love Dragon Ball. I feel like anime fans as a whole, we know how much we love it. We know how important it is. That's what made the Tournament of Power so fun. It's like I'm rediscovering Dragon Ball. It's like, I feel like I am a kid again watching this crazy shit. And everyone is too. And watching, like, okay, the main way to watch it went down. Well, yar har fiddle-dee-dee, I guess I gotta pirate it. The pirate site is down? Because everyone is watching it. I can't even pirate it? That's insane! I can only, like, I think I can only think of twice where the internet has broken. There was Steve getting announced for Smash Ultimate because, like, Twitter broke. And this. When Goku, Ultra Instinct Goku fighting Jiren could not be found anywhere. And it was annoying. It was frustrating because I wanted to watch it, but it just made it that much more exciting, you know? What else do I want to say about Dragon Ball? Battle of the Gods is fantastic. I had to rewatch the Goku Beerus fight last night. It's so good. Again, what I love about that fight, like Super Saiyan God. You know, so I've said Dragon Ball is about overcoming your limits. Super Saiyan God specifically is how there's some limits you can't break by yourself, and that's okay. It's okay to rely on the people you love. Given who Goku is as a person and the love he has for so many people, and that's what defines, like, separates him from the Saiyan, like the other Saiyans, and only through meeting him does someone like Vegeta and Piccolo let their walls down and like they're really able to be human. It's very fitting. I love that. The thing that made me cry, because of course I eventually did, you can tell I'm getting close just doing this, is it's just reading a lot of the posts, people talking about how, the impact Dragon Ball has had just on anime as a whole, on like pop culture as a whole. The fact that it's like, dude, Akira Toriyama had like a Hall of Fame career just with Dragon Ball alone, and then also Dragon Quest. It's like, dude, how do you have like multiple Hall of Fame careers? It's like Tom Brady. It's like, it's crazy. It's so cool. Just like seeing like the Goku Jiren watch party in Mexico. You're like, that's so hype. That's so crazy. People talk about like the impact he's had on this community and this community and this community and this community, and people sharing their personal stories about like, this is how Dragon Ball affected my life, and this is how I met a lot of my friends, like one of my very best friends, Wyatt. There's other things that we bonded over. I think the first time I met him, he was wearing a Super Mario shirt. This is another thing we bonded over, was Dragon Ball. Because he's like one of the biggest Dragon Ball fans I know. What broke me is I read someone's comment. I would love to shout him out, but I don't remember who made it. Was saying it's like, the next Shonen Jump cover, maybe they don't have enough time, so maybe it had to be the next one, is just, whether it's like modern characters and a lot of old favorites too, just like a bunch of characters, either just doing the Kamehameha or a Spirit Bomb. And there's the part of me that's like, fuck, I am crying. Is like seeing just a bunch of characters like Naruto and Luffy and Ichigo and shit, and fucking Denji. It's like, I love Chainsaw Man. Seeing fucking Denji do a Kamehameha would crack me up, dude. Like, it would be cool. It'd be just a really cool thing. A Spirit Bomb would make me cry. So, gotta give him energy as he goes to the next life. I read like what Oda had to say. That was super emotional. What Kishimoto had to say. I read what Masako had to say. Those all got me fucked up in different kinds of ways. Dragon Ball is a fucking work of art, man. The fact that it touched so many people, different races and cultures, and across so many generations, is a testament to that. And it's not yet done. Because there's something coming out later this year. I don't remember what it was called. It was like Daimo or something. I think it started with a D. And it's the one where it's like, everyone's gonna be a kid again. And I was like, I remember when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm excited, but also, huh? Toriyama is not gonna let GT go, is he? Like, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Like, it's Dragon Ball. I'm gonna watch it because you gotta. And now there's this part of me that's like, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Because this is the last Dragon Ball property, last Dragon Ball project. Unless there was another one in development that we didn't know about that Toriyama got to work on. This is his swan song. There's another part of me that is kind of dreading it for that same reason. I was trying to say exact reason. It didn't really come out right. Because I don't really want to have to say goodbye. Now, I don't think Dragon Ball will just end. It's too big. It's too important. But we will have to say goodbye to Akira Toriyama's work on it. It's gonna be really sad knowing that there won't be anything more from him. But we'll still have what he gave us. I think I've said more or less what I wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about Dragon Ball. So I love me some Dragon Ball. So, if you'll indulge me, there's really only one way I can end this. And I'm probably going to make an ass of myself. And you know what? I don't care. I'm never gonna stop doing this shit. Just holding my hands like this. I mean, I'll stop. You know what I mean. There's just something about this pose in particular, you know? It's fucking great. Fuck, I thought I had something else to say to kind of sign off. But I don't think I do. So I guess that's it.